Students, welcome to the Indian Constitution virtual classes. So, today I am going to discuss with you the method of election of the President of India, how to elect, what methods are to be followed. So, Article 54 and 55 deals with the method of election of the President of India. According to Article 54, the President is elected through indirect voting. So here we should know what indirect voting means. So indirect voting means the people will not directly go to elect the president. So indirect voting, in other words, is also called by the name indirect election. MP election and MLA election are the direct elections where the people simultaneously go to the polling station and cast their votes to the candidates according to their choice. But here, the election of the president is different. The people will not participate directly in the election of the president. But it is said in the constitution that the president of India is indirectly elected by the people. So, indirectly means the president is elected by the elected representatives of the people. First, people elect their representatives like MLAs and the MPs. So, these MLAs and the MPs participate in the election of the president. So, this is one through indirect voting. And he is elected by a special electoral college. Electoral college means a group of voters. So, this electoral college consists of the members of both the houses of the parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, the members of the Vidhana Sabhas of all the states. But here, one thing we should remember that only the elected members of these houses are eligible to vote. Only elected members, not the nominated members. There are some nominated members. So in the Lok Sabha, uh, two nominated members are there. So who are nominated by the president from the Anglo-Indian community. So this we have already discussed in the previous class. So once again, I will repeat this. So the nominated members of the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha from Anglo-Indian community, if they are not adequately representing the Lok Sabha, the president nominates not more than two members to Lok Sabha. And to Rajya Sabha also, the president nominates 12 members. So to give representation to the people of different fields. So the president nominates 12 members from the fields of arts, literature, science, social service, sports, and other cultural fields. So 12 members are nominated. So these nominated members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha do not have the voting right in the presidential election. Then elected candidates representing the union territories, so do not have the right to vote in this election. So this is also I said in the last class. The union territories are comes under the direct control of the president. So the president looking after the administration of the union territories. So there is a uh, person who is appointed by the president, governor general. So the areas which comes under the direct control of the president, the elected candidates of those areas are denied the voting right. The election for the post of the president is conducted through the method of secret ballot. So here we should also know what secret ballot means. So in a ballot system there are two types: open ballot system and secret ballot system. So in India, in all elections, we are following the secret ballot system only. We don't have the open ballot system. In a secret ballot system, the voters, while casting their votes in a polling station, they should give their preferential votes to the candidates secretly. So when we go to the polling station, we can observe that the table where the machines are kept so will be covered by a card sheet board. So that is to maintain the secrecy of the voting. So others should not see the casting of a vote by a voter. So secret ballot means the voter should cast his vote secretly. Open ballot system means openly we can give our preferential votes to the candidates. So if there is a open ballot system, uh, all the voters should assemble in a common place, maybe in a common room or maybe in a common ground to suggest their preferential votes. So open ballot system means while casting their votes, only they can raise their hands to give their preferential votes. So by raising their hands, they can give their votes to the candidates. So these are the two types of the ballots: secret ballot, open ballot. And another method in the election of the president is the voting is done in accordance with the method called proportional representation by means of a single transferable vote. Proportional representation, so which is followed in India in the election of the president. So it means proportional representation means the voters voting in this election should suggest their preferences by writing the serial numbers before the names of the candidates in their preferential votes. So they should write serial numbers before the name in front of before the names of the candidates. So there is one example of proportional representation here. So a voter may indicate his preferences before the names of the candidates. So as shown here. So names of the candidates. If there are five candidates contested for the post of the president, so then every voter should suggest five preferential votes, not single vote. Like MLA and MP election, in Gram Sabha election, where the voters should cast only one vote. But here in the presidential vote, they should give their votes to all the candidates. So in this way, by writing serial numbers, if the voter is giving his first preferential vote to candidate B, he should write serial number 1, and giving second preference to C, he should write serial number 2. Third preference to candidate E, serial number 3. And fourth preference to candidate D, serial number 4. Then giving the fifth preferential vote to A, he should write serial number 5. So this is proportional representation, which we follow in the presidential election. So this is another method in the election of the president. And here, one more important thing which is related to the election of the president. Method to find out value of MLA vote. Why? Because the MLAs of elected MLAs of all the state Vidhana Sabhas are the voters in the presidential election. So their vote will not be counted. The value of their vote will be counted during the counting of votes. So, on the basis of the value of the MLA and the MP votes only, the result will be declared. So, that method, so I will give some information about this. There shall be uniformity in the scale of representation of different states. For securing this objective, the Constitution provides that value of vote of an MLA of a state shall be in proportion to the population of that state. So it means that the value of MLA vote differs from one state to another state on the basis of population. If the population is more, so then the value of the MLA vote will also be more. So if the population is less, the value of the vote will be less. In order to determine this, the following formula is to be used. So here there is a formula to find out the value of a MLA vote. Value of vote of an MLA of a state is, so to calculate total population of the state uh, into total number of elected MLAs of the state legislative assembly. So on this basis we can calculate. So if we follow this method, then we will get the value of an MLA vote. So one example for this, in a recently held 2017 presidential election, the value of vote of Karnataka MLA is calculated by this method. The population of Karnataka state was 6 crores 10 lakhs 95,297. So as in 2017, and there were 224 elected MLAs in Karnataka state. So if we divide this population by the 224 elected MLAs, we will get the correct value of a MLA vote of Karnataka state. So when we divide this population by 224, 272 is the answer. So this is not the answer. 272 is the value of an MLA vote in Karnataka state. So like this, the vote of MLA will be calculated in all the states. So on the basis of the population. So this is one method. So in this way, the value of vote of each MLA of every state is calculated, and then the value of votes of all MLAs of all the state legislative assemblies is calculated. So in 2017 presidential election, the total value of votes of all the elected MLAs of 29 states plus 2 union territories two union territories means Delhi and Pondicherry. So these two union territories have given the status of legislative assembly. So the total value of votes of all elected MLAs of these 29 states and two union territories was 5,49,495. So there shall be a parity in the value of votes of all the MPs and the MLAs. So what value of MLA votes we will get, and the same value of MLA votes should come. So both should be, we should tally the value of both MP and MLA votes. There must be equality. For securing between the states and the union, it has been laid down that the total value of votes of all the elected MPs shall be equal to the total value of votes of all the MLAs. So there must be equality in total of value of MP votes and MLA votes. This is determined by dividing the total value of the votes of all MLAs as determined in accordance with the above stated formula by the total number of elected MPs. So the formula is total value of votes of all the elected MLAs of all the state legislative assemblies divided by total number of elected MPs. So then we will get value of vote of each elected MP. So when we divide the total value of MLA votes by the total number of elected MPs, so then we will get the value of MP vote. In 2017 presidential election, the total value of votes of all the elected MLAs of all the states legislative assemblies and union territories was 5,49,495, and the total number of elected MPs was 775. So this is the total of the MPs in Lok Sabha as well as in Rajya Sabha. 543 Lok Sabha plus 232 Rajya Sabha. Value of votes of each elected MP came to be 5,49,495 divided by 775. So then we will get the value of MP vote. 709 is the value of IMP vote. So this value of MP vote and the value of MLA vote will be counted while counting of votes in the presidential election. So in 2017 presidential election, the total value of votes of all the elected MPs was 709 into 775 is equal to 5,49,495. So this is equal to the value of MLA votes of all the states. So the total value of MLA votes 5,49,495. So MP votes also the total value of MP votes also 5,49,495. So in this way, by this method, the value of MLA votes will be calculated. In 2017 presidential election, two candidates contested the election. So as we all know, Shri Ramnath Kovind supported from the NDA and Meera Kumar, the former Speaker of the Lok Sabha, supported by UPA opposition groups. So the election was conducted on 17th July 2017. So the number of votes of MPs are as follows. Lok Sabha elected candidates 543. Value of votes of each MP 709. Total value of votes for the House 3,84,987. Then in Rajya Sabha 232 elected MPs. So value of each MP is seems 709. Total value of the MPs of Rajya Sabha, I mean elected MPs of Rajya Sabha, 1,64,488. The total number of parliamentary seats 775. The value of each MP vote 709. So the total value of all the elected MPs of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha 5,49,495. So in this, the candidate who secures absolute majority of valid votes so will be declared elected. The total number of votes for presidential electors are as follows. Members of legislative assemblies elected, total number of electors 4,120. Total value of votes 5,49,495. Members of Parliament of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha 775. Total value of votes 5,49,495. So total number of electors 4,895. The total value of votes 10,98,990. Then after the election there will be counting of votes. So which is another interesting system in the presidential election. So after the polling, the counting of votes takes place. The valid votes polled are counted. The quota is determined. The votes polled, first preference votes by each candidate are counted and calculated are done taking into account the value of each vote as stands determined on this basis of the principles stated in Article 55. The candidates completing the quota or surpassing it gets elected. So in case no candidate gets the fixed minimum quota of votes, the transfer of votes takes place in accordance with the prescribed procedure. So we can ask a question, what transferable vote means? Why the transferable vote takes place if no candidates gets the absolute majority of the minimum quota of valid votes. Transfer of votes. In case in a presidential election no candidate gets the required quota of votes in the first count which is done, by counting the first preference votes secured by each candidate. So, in the first round in the presidential election, during the counting of votes, first they will take first preferential votes for countage. So, after the counting, the candidate with the lowest, the candidate who gets the absolute majority of first preferential votes will be declared elected. But all the candidates have got only average number of first preferential votes. So the candidate with the lowest number of first preferential votes polled gets eliminated, and his votes are transferred to the remaining candidates on the basis of the second preferences as recorded by his voters. So his first preferential votes will be cancelled and transferred to the remaining candidates. If there are 5 candidates, the candidate E has secured only a least number of first preference votes. So those votes will be cancelled and transferred to other 4 candidates. So this process is repeated till any one candidate secures the required quota of valid votes. So in case after transfer of votes after the first round of counting, then the second round will take place. So in the second round of counted of votes, only second preferential votes will be counted. But after the second round also, if no candidate has secured the absolute majority of valid votes, then the least number of second preferential votes of the candidate will be cancelled and the votes will be transferred to the remaining 3 candidates. So, like that, the process will continue till a candidate gets the absolute majority of valid votes to become the President of India. So, this is a transfer of votes. So, this is another method of the election of the President. So, these are the two images of the candidates who contested the 2017 presidential election. So these are the two leading candidates for the presidency: Ramnath Kovind, Meera Kumar, the former Speaker of Lok Sabha. Shri Ramnath Kovind gained 2,930 MP and MLA votes to win the election. He defeated Meera Kumar, who got 1,844 MP and MLA votes. So, in this election, 21 MP and 56 MLA votes, total 77 votes became invalid. So, uh, this is the example of Indian politics. Some MPs and MLAs, they don't know how to cast their votes to in the presidential election. So such candidates are elected by we people as our MLAs and MPs. So this is the fate of the India. So such people are getting elected in the election and also becoming a ministers in the government. So if we give responsibility to such MPs and MLAs, so we get the government what we. So because of that reason only we are, the India is facing many problems. So we don't have a stable government in our country. So unstable administration. So these are the two candidates, Ramnath Kovind and Meera Kumar. On 22nd July 2017, Shri Ramnath Kovind declared elected. He was sworn in on 25th July 2017 at 11:30 a.m. as the 14th President of India. 13th President of India Pranab Mukherjee completed his term on 24th July 2017. So in Karnataka state, out of 224 MLA votes, 222 MLAs casted their votes. So two MLAs not participated. Ramnath Kovind secured 56 votes. Meera Kumar secured 163 votes and 3 votes became invalid from Karnataka state. So 3 of our MLAs, they don't know how to cast their votes. Votes secured by the presidential candidates in 2017 presidential election. Ramnath Kovind supported by NDA. So votes secured 2,930. The total value of votes 7 lakhs 2044. Percentage of votes 65.65 percentage. Meera Kumar supported by UPA secured 1844 votes. So the total value of these votes 3 lakhs 67,314. So percentage of votes secured by Meera Kumar 34.35%. So this is the election result. Then after the counting of votes, the candidate who declared elected as the President of India, so there will be a oath taking ceremony. The newly elected president should enter his office as the president. So the day when the term of the previous president expires or on a fixed date, the oath taking and installation of the new president takes place. The president elect takes the oath of his office in the presence of the Chief Justice of India. So the Chief Justice, in the presence of Chief Justice, the President has to take oath. In case if the Chief Justice is absent for this ceremony, so in his absence, in the presence of the available senior most judge of the Supreme Court, if for any reason the Chief Justice is not available for that oath taking ceremony, so then the senior most judge of the Supreme Court. So in his presence, the newly elected president will take oath of office. Then term of office. The president is elected for a term of 5 years. His term commences from the date on which he enters upon his office. From that day, his term begins. The president may contest for the elections again. So after the completion of 5 years, he can contest again for the post of the president. So that provision is there in our constitution. But according to the Constitution of India, nobody should hold the office of the president for more than 2 terms. So only 2 terms one person can be a president of India, not for the third term. The president continues to hold office till the election of a new president gets completed. So he will continue in office as the president till the election of the new president gets over. So only Dr. Rajendra Prasad completed 2 terms as the president of India. Since independence to till date, only Dr. Rajendra Prasad completed 2 terms as the president of India. So I will conclude here. So I think this is enough for today. So let me continue in the next class the remaining information with regard to the election and other details of the President of India. Thank you.